Everybody, Logi for Life here, bringing us a brand new video. So we got a ton of new cards to talk about, including one I missed last time. I forgot all about Parade Practice coming out and getting announced and everything, and I feel real bad about it because this is a darn good card from one of my favorite archetypes. So yeah, guys, if you like this video, rate, comment, subscribe, and all that stuff, and let's get on to this. And by the way, guys, I got a really big video coming out later this week. It's been hell putting it together, like, since last night and almost all of this morning, so I hope you guys look forward to it. It's going to be fun. So, we got Parade Practice here. This is a new spell card for Predaplants that, to me at least, is very reminiscent of Absorb Fusion, but this is for, obviously, Predaplants, not for Gem Knights. So, this is a normal spell card. You can only activate one of it per turn. Spell summon a Predaplant monster from your hand, then add one Preda card, or say Predap card, because they gotta be specific, because then you could get in some other shenanigans with naming, from your deck to your hand. For the rest of this turn, after this card resolves, you cannot spell summon monsters from your extract, except for fusion monsters. So what I really like about this card is that this is very much a combo extender, okay? Being able to just plop any of your Predaplants onto the field, which can then get their effects triggered or anything, is really nice. And then you get to add a Preda card afterwards. With like Absorb Fusion, and this is the reason why it reminds me so much of Absorb Fusion. With Absorb Fusion, it does something very similar. You activate it, you add a Gem Knight from your deck to your hand, and then you can Fusion Summon, but even if you don't, you can't summon anything for the rest of the turn except for Gem Knights. This is very, very similar, but you can summon any fusion monster from your extract because, well, of course, Predaplant's boss monster is Starving Venom Fusion Dragon, and his upgraded version, Greedy Venom Fusion Dragon. I almost called him Crimson Venom Fusion Dragon. That'd be cool. But anyway, so Parade Practice, very good card. You can just plop out a Orpha Scorpio, use his effect, and or like something else like Spino Dionea. You can get a Squid Drosera on the field a bit easier, so you can get more Preda counters on the field. And then you also get to just search out more Preda cards, which is awesome. I'm still hoping we get a Preda Plant Fusion spell sometime in the future. Unfortunately, though, we do have the remaining Preda cards revealed, and unfortunately, none of them are Preda Plant Fusion spells, which I really was hoping they'd get one. It'd be so much cool. It'd be... They need it. They really need their own fusion spell. Something just that lets you just fusion summon using monsters on either side of the field or something. It'd be great. I know that, what was it? Chlamydio Sundew lets you fusion using monsters your opponent controls that have Preda counters, but he's a monster effect, and that can be negated a heck of a lot easier than a spell, so I digress. So next up, we got some new cards from the commercial. God, I wish we got commercials over here again like we used to, but we don't. So first and foremost, we got Supreme King's Castle over here. The last of the Evil Hero support to be revealed. Don't worry, I will be talking about Evil Mind soon enough. That was another card that was revealed a little bit ago that I haven't gotten to cover yet. So Supreme King's Castle is a field spell, and it has two very simple effects. The first effect is that if you want to fusion summon a monster that needs Dark Fusion, so basically a Evil Hero monster, you can use a spell card that's not Dark Fusion. So literally just lets you use Super Poly, Polymerization, Miracle Fusion. I think will work. Maybe. Oh wait, does I gotta double check that because I always forget. Does Miracle Fusion work for any hero or? God, I can't remember. I was thinking, oh, Miracle Fusion, but I'm thinking, yeah, it requires a. Darn it, you got to go into an Elemental Hero Fusion monster. I was hoping you could use Miracle Fusion for it, but I digress. So, it is really good because now you can use Polymerization and Super Poly for that Fusion summon of a, well, you know, freaking Evil Hero monster. That's great. But, however, it's not what the deck needed. Now, the deck does also have another, this card does have another effect, where once per turn during damage calculation, if your Fiend-type monster battles an opponent's monster, you can send an Evil Hero monster from your deck or extract to the graveyard. Your battling monster gains an attack equal to the sent monster's level times 200 until the end of the turn. This is great. Okay, one of the biggest issues with the old Evil Heroes is that they were battle-focused monsters with crap for attack. Like, seriously. Infernal Wing and Wild Cyclone in particular, they are straight up upgrades in terms of their effects to Flame Wingman and God, what was the original one called? I can't remember. Wild Heart, something like that. And not Wild Heart. That was the regular level 4. I can't remember the fusion of of Wild Heart with Avian, but Wild Cyclone. They're both great monsters, especially Wild Cyclone. That thing attacks these Armades, and he does damage to your opponent. He nukes your opponent's back row. How stupid is that? But Wild Cyclone has 1900 attack, and Infernal Wing, who has basically an upgraded version of Fling Wingman's burn effect, has 2100 attack. They're not running over anything, especially not in modern Yu-Gi-Oh! So this being able to help them run over stuff is really great. Heck, if you just dump Sinister Necrom to level 5, dude, he that's 1,000 attack for them. So for Infernal Wing, that'd make her 3,100, and of course for Wild Cyclone, that would make him 2,900. That's more than enough to get over most things, and that is great. I just love that effect. It just lets you dump and get stuff in your graveyard so you can use stuff later. Obviously, the main thing you're going to be wanting to send is Wild Cyclone, but you can also send Malicious Bane or Malicious Fiend to get like 1,600 more attack total, so it's nice. That being said, Supreme King Castle is honestly the most disappointing card out of all the Evil Hero stuff for me. I know a lot of people say, oh, Evil Mind is, but I honestly really like Evil Mind. I know I'm in a minority with that, but Supreme King Castle, I feel like this should have done something else in addition to that. Like, okay, cool, you can use Polymerization or Super Poly, and okay, cool, you can dump something to make your stuff stronger. But I really was hoping for another fusion spell or another fusion monster. As much as I love the old school Evil Hero monsters, they are horribly outdated. And the deck is going to basically be Malicious Bane Turbo. And I don't like that. I don't like it when a deck just focuses on summoning one monster over and over and over again. So, I don't know. It just, I don't know. I'm going to be testing around with Evil Heroes, and honestly, I don't think this card is super needed, maybe as a 1-2 of, but the deck is getting super, like, claustrophobic with how much stuff I'm trying to squeeze into it, so it's going to be a lot to test out. And speaking of disappointing cards, we got the Ultimate Earthbound Immortal. Cool name, cool artwork, but it's got an issue. So it's a continuous trap card, and I know a lot of people are going like, oh, there's the issue, and I'm going like, no, it just doesn't do enough. So its one and only effect is if a normal summoner set Earthbound Immortal is on the field, you can target one face-up monster in the field, destroy that monster. Now, because this is a continuous trap card, this is a quick effect. So therefore, if this is during your opponent's turn, you can quick effect pop something, or if it's during your turn, you can again quick effect pop something. It's really nice, but it just doesn't do enough. You have to have a normal summoner set Earthbound Immortal. Now, obviously, the easiest ways to get the Earthbounds out is to just, you know, dump them in the graveyard, call to haunted them back. They don't have any restrictions on their special summons. And you don't really want to normal summon them too much. I mean, yes, this set does really support that with Geoglyph, letting you tribute summon them using a synchro monster as full tribute, and of course Earthbound Overwalker, making it so that whenever you do tribute summon him, he puts your opponent's life points at 3k. But however, at the end of the day, this card just doesn't do enough. If it could also, like, protect your Earthbounds or something, it'd be great. Or if it could pop any card, or if you guys just made it like freaking the Red Eyes Ritual monster. What's his name? I can't remember, but basically make it to where once per turn it can pop a monster, and then once per turn it can pop a trap or spell, so that way it can pop 2 cards each turn. That would be great. Why is it only face-up monsters? I mean, yeah, sure, most of the time you're going to be dealing with face-up monsters, but I mean, if this is supposed to be Earthbound Immortal literally shooting a giant energy beam at them, I don't think it's going to care if it's face down or face up. I am just overall disappointed with this card. I don't even know if it's going to be worth playing. I mean, yeah, it's searchable, but still, I'm disappointed. And then we got Perform Puppet for Gimmick Puppets. It's a continuous spell card. Basically, you can only use each of its effects once per turn. First effect, you can banish a Gimmick Puppet monster that has a level from your graveyard until the end of this turn. The levels of all face-up monsters you control become the banished monster's level. The levels of all monsters you control become the banished monster's level. Now that, of course, only applies to monsters with levels you control. If this could make, like, Lynx have a level, so after you steal something with, like, Gigantus, you could actually use them as Xyz fodder, it'd be great, but nope. But yeah, that is nice, being able to just cohesively make everything one level. And then if a Gimmick Puppet monster you control is destroyed by battle or card effect and sent to the graveyard, you can target one of your banished Gimmick Puppets, special summon it. Great card overall for Gimmick Puppets. I'm not sure how many I would play, mostly because it's not searchable, so you got a hard draw into it, but it is pretty good overall. And then we got the second to last Predaplant card. And there is actually one more, and also one more good old Gimmick Puppet card that we gotta talk about. If I can find it. Oh no, I didn't pull it up. Okay, I gotta hunt it down later. Darn it. Forgot about it. Oh well, so Predaplanting. I could have sworn there was one more. Was there? No, actually no, I didn't miss it. Okay, cool. I could have sworn there was, but oh well. So I did not miss it, and if I did, oh well. So Predaplanting, it's this trap card here. I really want to see the artwork in a high quality because this looks cool. It kind of looks like the new fusion monster. I'm just going to call it Ghidorah because I just saw Godzilla King of the Monsters and this thing looks so much like Ghidorah and I love it. Ghidorah is my favorite kaiju ever. And it just looks like he's just ravaging the predator plant world and I love it. It's so cool. So anyway, so Predaplanting, normal trap card. You can only use each effect one of its 1 and 2 effects once per turn, so it's a hard name once per turn for both effects. First effect, send one Predaplant monster from your deck to the graveyard. Place one Predator counter on each face-up monster on the field. And if you do, any of those monsters at level 2 or higher become level 1 as long as they have a Predator counter. If you fusion summon a dark monster while this card is in your graveyard, you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target one card on the field, destroy it. I really, really love this card, okay? Being able to just send any Predaplant from my deck to the graveyard to put a Preda counter on every monster my opponent controls is absolutely wonderful, okay? Not only does it load up the graveyard for your Predaplants, because there are quite a few Predaplants that want to be in the graveyard, most notably, Hydra, if I remember right. I think it's like a Drosophirum Hydra or something like that. So Hydra, while he's in the graveyard, you can banish any of your Predaplants to basically drop a monster's attack by 500. But more importantly, if he's in your hand or graveyard, you can tribute a monster your opponent controls with a Preda counter and special summon it from your graveyard or your hand. So being able to just basically put your kaiju in the graveyard and load it up, I love it. It's great. The counter spread does not target like with Predaplast, so absolutely wonderful card for the deck overall. The popping effect in the graveyard is also really great. I like that a lot as well. Sure, it's not a fusion spell. I'll take it. This is a great card overall. I know somebody's going to complain, it's a trap, and I'm like, I don't care. It's a good card. So moving on, we got Evil Mind. This is the last Evil Hero card that we know of right now. I'm hoping to God this means, alongside with the Destiny Hero support we got recently in a main set, that hopefully we get some Evil Hero support in the main set as well. So Evil Mind, it's a normal spell card. You can only activate a card of this card's name once per turn, and you have to control a Fiend monster to activate it. Whenever you do, if you control that Fiend monster, activate one of these effects based on the number of monsters in your opponent's graveyard. 1 or more, draw 1 card. 4 or more, add 1 hero or dark fusion from your deck to your hand. And then 10 or more, add a polymerization spell or fusion spell from your deck to your hand. So I'm not gonna lie, when I first read this, I thought, why are people thinking this is bad? You get those 3 effects, the more monsters that your opponent has in the graveyard. This is stupid. Imagine if they had 10 or more. You get to draw a card, add a hero or dark fusion, add a polymerization or a fusion spell. What's wrong? Well, you don't get all 3, you only get 1. That's the issue with this card. Okay, so even if your opponent has 20 monsters in the graveyard, you are only getting 1 of these effects. You don't get all 3. You get 1. That is absurd, okay? This card would have been balanced. It would have been fine if you got all 3, okay? Okay, so imagine this. So just think about it, guys, okay? You have to control a Fiend monster, and you can only activate 1 of this card per turn. And you have to rely on your opponent's graveyard being set up in order to get a full benefit on this card. So therefore, let's say theoretically, the game is going on long enough, I mean, it never happens these days, but let's say it does, where your opponent has 10 or so monsters in the graveyard. You activate this card, while you control, I don't know, Evil Hero, Inferno, what's his name? The one who can, Evil Hero Infernal Gainer. Let's say you control Gainer. Okay, you activate this card, you draw one card, then you search out your you search out your hero, and then you search out your spell card to fusion summon. And then you have your field spell out, the Supreme King's Castle, and hey, you just got all the stuff you needed to make Malicious Bane and try and go for game. Why can't we do that? Would that have been so broken to where you had to slap on, you only get one of these effects? It's stupid. It really is. And it has beautiful artwork too. Infernal Wing is one of my favorite designs on a hero card, and I absolutely love her. She's just so cool, and I mean, she's basically a female version of my favorite hero. Of course I'm going to love her. So, the fact that this card is just okay, it annoys me. I think it's going to be a solid 1 to 2 of, maybe. It's searchable off of a Duster, although you're probably going to be searching Dark Fusion or Dark Calling more often. But it's just an okay card with beautiful artwork. Speaking of beautiful artwork, Puppet Parade here. God, this card is so cool. So this card, I want this as a mat or something. I just love it. So this is a normal trap card. It's for Gimmick puppets, obviously. It's also called Puppet Funeral or Puppet Parade in Japan. It's probably just going to be called Puppet Parade here because, hey, we don't get to have funerals in Yu-Gi-Oh! And TCG, you just get banished to the Shadow Realm. I don't know. Would you rather die or be banished to the Shadow Realm where you're eternally tormented and suffering? Not freaking 4Kids made it darker in the American version, if you ask me. So, Puppet Parade, normal trap card. You can only activate one of this card's name per turn. If your opponent controls more monsters than you do, spell summon Gimmick puppet monsters with different names from your deck equal to up to the difference. Then, if your opponent's life points is at least 2,000 or higher, well, 2,000 points higher than yours, you can set one rank up magic normal spell directly from your deck. After this card resolves, you cannot special summon for the rest of this turn except Gimmick puppet monsters. This card is great, okay? Now, obviously, the main thing you're going to be doing is, like, using it during the end phase of your opponent's turn, or if you absolutely have to, during their battle phase so you don't die. And you don't really mind because Gimmick puppets want to be in a graveyard, so you can just summon, like, a, I don't know, the freaking doll that wants to be in the graveyard, Jury Doll, and some other stuff, like the Human Centipede one, all that stuff, so you can chum block and try and survive. But, I like this card a lot. It just lets you get to your stuff super quick. My biggest issue with this card is the fact about the rank up, okay? You got to have 2,000 more life points lower than your opponent, and this is a burn deck. Like, let's be honest, Gimmick puppets love burning. So it's super weird that they do that again, because, you know, it totally worked on Puppet Ritual. That card was a one of at best. And this card, I mean, at least for the main effect, you don't need the 2,000 higher or lower. I mean, your opponent to have 2,000 or more life points, so that's not the biggest thing. But also, right now, the rank up magic you're supposed to play in Gimmick Puppets is currently banned. Rank up magic Chaos Argent Force, which states target one rank 5 or higher Xyz monster you control, rank it up into a Xyz that's you know higher than it, and then if you I think it's like Xyz summon or if you spell summon a rank 5 or higher Xyz monster, you can add it from your graveyard to your hand. But you can only do that once per duel. That card is currently banned because of the Utopic Zexal basically locked down that made your opponent not be able to play the game. Basically, you would send Argent Chaos Force to the graveyard with Beatrice, and then you would make Utopic Zexal, which would then, you basically make Utopic Zexal, you'd get Argent Chaos Force back to your hand. Oh, wait, no. You would make another monster to... I don't know. Basically, you would end up making another monster to fulfill the summoning requirements of Utopic Zexal. Its rank would be high enough to where Argent Chaos Force would go back to your hand, and then you would do Utopic Zexal's summoning condition where you can discard a rank up to special summon it. So, currently, that card is banned. Okay, now if Konami was smart, they would ban Utopic Zexal instead, because so long as Utopic Zexal is in the game, we cannot have a rank up magic searcher. So seriously, Konami, ban Utopic Zexal, give us back Argent Chaos Force, and then give us this card, because right now there's honestly no other really good rank up magic for Gimmick Puppets. We would have to rely on Barion's Force, or whatever the original one was called, and I don't really want to deal with that. Okay, Konami? moving on. Sorry, mini rant over. I will forever be salty about that. I hate that. So, we got new news for the Structure Deck Revolver. This is Rocket Tracer. It's based off of a Tracer Dart. It's a level 4 Dark Dragon Tuner monster. 1600 attack, 1000 defense. Quick effect. It only has one effect. As a quick effect, you can target one face-up card you control. For the rest of this turn, you cannot summon monsters from your extract except for dark monsters. Also destroy that card, and if you do, special summon one rocket from your deck except Rocket Tracer. This card is almost exactly what the deck needs, okay? So, let's say, for instance, you open Rocket Tracer, the field spell for rockets, and I don't know, any of the rockets that's not something you really particularly want to have in your hand at any given point. So you activate the field spell, you use its effect, summon Rocket Tracer and the other rocket, use Tracer effect, destroy the other rocket, special summon one of the level 4s, and then, hey, during the end phase, since you destroyed that rocket, you'll get its effect to summon another monster from the grave, well, from the deck, and then you can, now you have 2 level 4s out. You can make a Beals, you can make Borreload Savage Dragon, you can make Void Ogre, you can make any other Dark Dragon, whatever thing you want to do. Or you can just combo off with the freaking Guard Dragons. I think all the Guard Dragons are dark. I can't remember. But it's still really good for what the deck needs. And of course, if you don't want to just make your Synchro right away, you can then, during your opponent's turn, use his effect to pop your other rocket that you just summoned, or the one you're going to summon during the end phase, so you can get another free monster during the end phase. It's pretty good. My only issue is that this guy himself does not have the rocket effect, but hey, whenever he just summons a monster for basically free in an archetype that floats, I'm okay. We got some new skills from Attack from the Deep, the newest set that just came out for Speed Duels. I really want to talk about Speed Duels more on this channel. I really like them. I really want to see Speed Duels succeed, especially since they give us more chances for reprints of older archetypes. And so the first new skill is the World's Greatest Fisherman. It's a Mako skill, or say Mako. I'm used to seeing Mako, or M-A-K-O, and pronouncing it Mako, like from Kill la Kill. But they pronounce it Mako from, you know, I don't know, it's how they pronounce it. It's a skill for him. Once per turn, you can pay 500 life points and discard a water monster, then add one water monster from your graveyard to your hand with a different name with a level no more than twice the discarded monster's level. If you do that, flip this card over. I can see this being really dirty later on in Speed Duels if we ever get Mermills and Atlanteans in the format. It's gonna be so dirty. Oh, pay 500 life points, discard Atlantean Dragoons, and then add freaking, let's see, no more than twice the level, so can't be any higher than 6. So then you add, I don't know, the level 4 that discards on summon to your hand, and then Atlantean Dragoons effect starts. It's gonna be stupid. Mystic Deaths, it's literally just Umi. Catch of the Day, another Mako skill. If you control the legendary fisherman, you can activate Umi directly from your deck or graveyard. This skill can only be used once per duel. Once per turn, when this skill can only be... Oh, so it has 2 skills. Okay. Once per turn, when the legendary fisherman destroys a monster by battle or inflicts damage to your opponent, you can special summon a level 4 or lower water monster from your deck to your hand or graveyard in defense position. Pretty good card overall. Another skill, it's a Joey skill, it's My Lucky Day. When you activate an effect that would make you roll a 6-sided die or flip a coin, you can pay 1,000 life points to decide the result of the die or coin. This skill can only be used once per duel. I really wish that could, I wish it could be like used once every other turn or something like that. Because this would be great for like Arcana Force if they ever get put into Speed Duels. And then Viral Infection, it's an ultra rare. It's a new Kaiba skill. Once per turn, you can discard any number of cards and declare one type of card, monster, spell, or trap. Your opponent sends one card of the declared type from their deck to the graveyard for each discarded card. If you do that, flip this card over. This is not a once per duel skill. It's stupid. So, okay, my opponent's playing a monster-heavy deck. I'm going to go ahead and discard a couple cards I want in my graveyard. Okay, I'm going to call monster. My opponent has to send their monsters in the graveyard. So, yeah, just going to go ahead and force them to get rid of their boss monsters. That's annoying. It's going to be interesting. And finally, so ArcV's manga last volume is coming up soon, and they've announced what the promo is going to be, and that's going to be, if you guys haven't been keeping up with the manga, it's Divine God DDD, Zero King, Zero God Reiji. God, Reiji's such a narcissist. He made himself God in a freaking card form. So yeah, this is a this is gonna be the final promo. In the manga, this thing is absolutely insane. Basically, while it's out on the field, every other card is treated as not being there, and it's stupid. Basically, if this thing attacks, you auto win the duel. So it's going to be interesting to see how they translate this thing's absurd effect. You know what, screw it. Let's go to YgoAmino so I can read you exactly, how stupid this thing's effect is. Okay, so, come on. Okay, you know what, screw it. Where is, Ragey? Okay, because this is stupid. It's going to be very interesting to see how it works IRL. Okay, where is... Okay, non-canon. Here we go. Divine God, DDD, Zero King God, Zero King, Zero God, Reiji. So it's a pendulum scale of 0. We don't know what its pendulum effect is in the manga. But when this card battles an opponent's monster, you can make the opponent's monster's attack become 0. When this card attacks your opponent directly, the player's life points become 0. You contribute 3 monsters until the end of this turn. Ignore all cards your opponent controls on the field and in their hand and in the graveyard. So, when it battles an opponent's monster, makes them 0. When it attacks your opponent directly, it makes their life points become 0. And you contribute 3 monsters until the end of the turn. It basically treats it like as if your opponent has no cards on their field, in their hand, or in their graveyard. This is so stupid. I can't help but wonder how they're going to balance this IRL, because this thing is a freaking level 10 pendulum monster that if this was printed as is, it'd be stupid. Oh god, I can't wait to see how it works. So guys, what do you guys think of all these new cards? What do you think they're gonna what do you think they're gonna do with Zero King, Zero God Reiji for the IRL version? It's gonna be interesting to see how they balance it out. Thank you all for watching. Have a great day if it's your birthday, and well, have a great day even if it's not your birthday. I'm worried about how I phrase that. Okay, have a great day. If it's your birthday, happy birthday. See y'all later. Peace out and goodbye. There we go. That worked.